February 24th episode of Beacon Web News. I'm May Craig. Mayor Tom Bernard announced on Tuesday that he will not be running for a third term as North Adams mayor, according to the Berkshire Eagle. Mayor Bernard wants to focus his time on helping the city rather than on a re-election campaign. Join the Office of Institutional Advancement at 6 p.m. Wednesday, March 3rd on Zoom for a moderated discussion with Mayor Alex Morse about his experience as the first openly gay mayor in the history of the city of Holyoke and his advice to students seeking a similar path in politics. The event is free and open to the public. To register for the event, go to bit.ly/AlexMorse21. Black Student Union is closing out Black History Month with a bingo. The event will take place on Friday, February 26th at 6 to 8 p.m. on Teams. MCLA's third annual talent show will take place virtually on Saturday, March 6th from 7 to 10 p.m. For those interested in performing for the talent show, email Helen Hodge with the act and number of participants. On Thursday, February 4th, President Burge announced that there will be a virtual commencement for the class of 2020 and class of 2021. Here is Sara Troy with more on the story.
As the future of the global pandemic remains uncertain, a decision has been made regarding graduation ceremonies this year. On February 4th, President Burge sent out a message to the Trailblazer community announcing the commencement ceremonies for the class of 2020 and 2021 are to be held virtually this year. I spoke with Gina Puck and Jackie Kelly to find out how this decision was made and what virtual commencement will look like.
We are going to have all the same elements of a regular commencement ceremony. We're going to have singers, we'll have the president's speech, we'll have honorary degrees, keynote speakers.
MCLA will be using a virtual event company called StageClip to host the ceremony. StageClip gives graduates the opportunity to celebrate and be honored while remaining safe. Although things will not be in person this year, the class of 2020 and 2021 will be able to have a commencement ceremony.
Spend about $25,000 in total on commencement, and we're probably closer to the ballpark of $30,000 for each class this year.
Is all the students are going to have the opportunity to cross the stage with their slides. So everybody is going to have the opportunity to submit their information, submit a photo, submit a video, and you'll be able to go across with your class and have your moment.
It's strictly related to safety. I mean, when it got to be February and the governor still hadn't lifted indoor or outdoor gathering restrictions, it became really prohibited, coupled with the fact that the vaccine schedule is just not where anyone, as far along as anyone predicted that it would be. There was no way we could safely even staff a drive-in commencement, for example. Or some of the options like that. So
next, I spoke with Crystal Wojcik, 2021 class council president, about how she feels on the decision.
So how do you feel as a class president about how you guys aren't going to have a regular ceremony this year?
It's disappointing. I think myself and every other senior feels the same way right now, but I understand the science behind it and the reason why we can't have an in-person commencement, but that doesn't make it any less disheartening, I guess.
Commencement is one of the most important days of the year, and despite the global pandemic, the class of 2021 and the class of 2020 will still be able to celebrate their success. For Beacon Web News, I'm Sara Troy.
Institutional Advancement will be hosting a General Dynamics internship information session for MCLA and BCC students. Students can hear from alumni that went through the internship program and then become full-time staff members. The event will be on Thursday, the 25th at 1 p.m. virtually. To register, go to bit.ly/MCLA-BCCGD. Student Activities Council will be hosting Black Light Mini Golf. You and 2 friends can sign up for a tea time. The event will be Saturday, the 27th from 6 to 9 p.m. in Venable Gym. To sign up for a time slot, go to linktree/SACMCLA. Teachers College Press will be holding a panel on a new book written by MCLA's professor Lisa Donovan. Donovan and co-author Sara Andenberg will be hosting a virtual panel discussion entitled The Art of Curation to Deepen Practice in Teaching and Learning. Donovan and Andenberg's book is called Teacher as Curator, Formative Assessment and Arts-Based Strategies. The panel will take place on February 26th at 3 p.m. To register, go to bit.ly/teacherascurator. The Hardman Lecture Series is hosting a Zoom lecture on March 9th at 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. featuring Dr. Karen Balin, an assistant professor in the English and Communications Department, who will be sharing a newly developed residency program. This is a free and public event. Register at http://bit.ly/MCLA-Hardman. The Green Living seminars went virtual this year due to the pandemic. I spoke with Professor of Environmental Studies, Elena Traister, on what the process was like to go virtual for these events. This week on Beacon Web News, I interview Elena Traister about the virtual Green Living seminar.
That students take for credit and a public lecture series. So the lectures always focus on some kind of theme pertaining to environmental sustainability. The students in the previous year's course pick the theme. So this year's theme is individual actions and environmental sustainability, really thinking about what are sustainable actions that people can take if they want to have a positive impact on the environment, and also what are kind of the systems and conditions that encourage people to make sustainable choices. A public lecture series, right? Those are once a week, and we hear from really, experts in their field on these topics that relate to the overall lecture theme. Having the discussion with the students and the students picking the theme, then I start doing the research into who is doing the research, who is involved, either as a researcher or as some sort of practitioner working on these issues, and who are going to be the most qualified to speak. And then I just start reaching out and seeing who's willing to participate, and have my wish list of speakers and go through. And generally, I've been very lucky in that the overwhelming majority of people that I reach out to are interested in participating, since we're thinking about environmental actions and individual actions and environmental sustainability. We heard this week from Lisa Watson about how fuel efficiency factors into people's choices about purchasing a car, and how social marketing may be able to help influence people to purchase more fuel efficient cars, which are more environmentally friendly, have less of an impact on climate change. We heard previously from Seth Wines, who kicked off our series, looking at what are the most impactful decisions people can make if they want to reduce their impact on climate change. The Green Living seminar also had to go online. And so what did we do? Let's see, I guess we were just using Teams at that point. And so we were just scrambling to keep going. The Green Living seminar, I think students can sign up to take the course for a couple of credits. And so they meet starting at 4:30, and then the public lecture starts at 5:30. And so in the spring, we just transitioned so that all of those public presentations were on Teams. So the students, again, continued to attend, and people from outside could also participate. It seems to be working out okay. I think all of us kind of miss the just one-to-one in-person interaction, and I certainly look forward to trying to figure out in the future how we can combine actually the in-person events with some of the flexibility that we've gotten with these virtual series. It both allows us to bring in speakers from farther away more sustainably, so they don't have to travel here and burn up fuel to drive or fly, and also more people can participate synchronously from wherever they are. So I think we've learned something from this experience. It's been a little bit of a surprise, of course, but definitely trying to learn what we can to organize and participate in the Green Living seminar every year. And that's because, for multiple reasons. It's one, I just think it's really great that we can design this series every year based on what students want to learn about, because that means that these are some of the most important pressing issues that we as a local community and as part of a global community need to be paying attention to. And I also, love the fact that at MCLA, here we are, a public liberal arts college where it's not only the students who are interested in these issues, but these are issues that all of us, again, as a global community, are interested and concerned about for the well-being of, people on the planet going forward. And so I love the fact that we can make these presentations available beyond just the MCLA campus community, but people in our local region, and now even beyond, given the technology that we have to work with. So the fact that we're hearing from current experts in these fields on these pressing issues as part of a local and broader community, I think is very exciting.
Beacon Web News, I'm May Craig. There will be another Green Living seminar on March 10th from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. via Zoom. The topic is called Framing Messages to Make Them Appealing with guest speaker Dr. Nell Putnam. St. Elizabeth Parish Center in North Adams is now an available COVID vaccination site for Phase 2, which means people 65 years old or older with 2 or more underlying health conditions are eligible. They have openings on February 18th and February 20th. For more info, please visit www.newsbreak.com. A non-working fire hydrant hampered efforts of firefighters to extinguish a fire in a 2-family home on 47 Vesey Street Friday, February 12th. Firefighters were not able to use the fire hydrant across from the home and needed to run hundreds of feet of hose to access working hydrants. Fire Chief Steve Moranti said that years of lack of maintenance was the reason the fire hydrant didn't work. Officials estimate 16% of hydrants in the city needed to be replaced. The city is working through the challenges of funding the maintenance work needed. Berkshire County has the highest percentage, with 15% of the population having received their first dose of the COVID vaccine. There are 3 vaccination sites: Great Barrington, North Adams, and Pittsfield. In the upcoming weeks, MCLA will be interviewing to fill the open positions of Vice President of Academic Affairs, Vice President of Student Affairs, and Vice President of Administration and Finance. A campus and community open forum will be hosted via Zoom to introduce each candidate. With declining enrollment at MCLA, Sym Kehr spoke with Gina Puck and Kayla Hollins on what the plan is to increase enrollment for the future.
According to the MCLA Factbook for 2020 to 2021, student enrollment has been steadily declining since 2011. In the fall of 2011, enrollment for undergraduate and graduate students totaled 1,886 students. As of fall 2020, that number has dropped to 1,202.
If you look at MCLA's enrollment path and directly compare that to the rate of high school graduates in Massachusetts and New England, you'll see a direct correlation. And there are just thousands less students graduating from high schools across Massachusetts and the Northeast than there were a decade ago. And one of the jokes that we make all the time is like, we miss the heyday of college admissions where you didn't have to put in any efforts to recruit students and we're still getting record classes.
The Factbook shows that some courses in the STEM programs have increased in students. This includes majors such as computer science and health sciences, while majors in the arts such as arts management, English communications, and education have had a steady decline.
Years ago, when the CSI TV show franchise launched, colleges across the country saw a spike in students asking for forensics courses and forensics majors. And I think what we're seeing is sort of as STEM fields expand and grow nationally, more students are interested in that. It's also a reflection of high school curricula. So more and more STEM courses across those disciplines are being offered in high schools across Massachusetts and the country, and that spikes the student interest.
This is not the only time that MCLA has seen such low numbers, such as the time when the school transitioned from North Adams State College in 1997.
So we're right now similar to where we were in the early 2000s.
The way admissions was operating had to make some changes when COVID hit.
Was definitely a switch that we had to make kind of abruptly last March, and then as time has allowed, we've just become smarter and more innovative in the ways that we engage with prospective students. So initially, we unfortunately had to stop tours. We were able to bring them back in a very abbreviated fashion for fall, and we're hoping to do that again for spring once numbers kind of settle, current students get acclimated back to campus, that sort of thing. We did a lot of virtual pieces, a lot of webinars, a lot of panels, a lot of meet and greets, trivia nights, all sorts of things just to get students to learn a little bit more about campus. But not only learn about campus, but meet our community members, meet and engage with the friendly people, feel that what the feeling is like of campus, though you're not there. And then the other piece is we put together a virtual tour. So that way students could, two different types of virtual tours, actually. One that they could take on their own, that's just a series of YouTube videos. And then another where a ambassador will take a student through a slide deck of pictures of campus, the feel of campus, that sort of thing.
Admissions has some plans to help increase enrollment over the next few years.
I think first and foremost, we're waiting for some of the travel restrictions and gathering restrictions to be lifted to have our large scale events that we know are successful. So some of our most successful events in the last probably 5 years, I would say, have been our scholarship overnights or any version of an overnight where students are able to come and visit. And so hoping to get those back on track in the next calendar year, as well as our large scale open house events, on campus athletic recruitment events. And that's our main priority. I would say second to that is really looking at what we call top of the funnel activities around how can we continue to spread the word about MCLA.
Top of my mind was about events and having students be able to visit campus, and then also having our admission staff be able to go out on the road and meet students and families where they are. We've learned that we need to switch gears and we should continue to work in some of these directions. While we want to have on-campus large events, we need to continue to host virtual ones for families that can't come visit, or the time constraint doesn't allow, or they just don't have a means of getting to campus. Definitely something that's going to stay.
For Beacon Web News, I'm Sym Kehr.
Counseling Services are looking for students to apply to the first Student Advisory Board. The role of this board is to promote mental health initiatives and counseling services events on campus. To apply, send an email letter of interest, resume, and a short essay on why mental health awareness is important on college campuses to Heidi Riello, Director of Counseling Services, by March 31st. Adams is reconsidering a 5-day work week at Town Hall. Town Hall went to a 4-day work week in 2016 with 35 hours a week. The Board of Selectmen made a suggestion to have a 5-day work week with half days on Fridays, according to iBerkshires. The original reason for a 4-day work week was to save money by having the building shut down for a day. However, the building usually still has people in it on Fridays, so the building isn't closed anyway. Any sort of change would have to be brought before the clerical union. And now from the Beacon. The Kehr syllabus will be launching its second module on Black elegies, curated by Kimberly Juanita Brown later this month. In the Green Living Seminar on Wednesday, the 17th, Dr. Lisa Watson, an Associate Dean Professor of Business Administration at the University of Virginia in Canada, discussed the nationwide consumer demand for fuel-efficient vehicles and the role of social marketing. This week's Campus Life Snapshot looks at Jillian Courier, a sophomore resident on the women's soccer team who has yet to have a normal spring season. You can check out these and other stories from the Beacon at theonlinebeacon.com or pick up a copy all over campus. That's it for this week. To stay up to date with BWN, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/MCLABWN. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.